Hi, my name is Joel Azu and I manage the IHQ Analyst Incubation Program. So to talk about the IHQ Analyst Incubation Program, I'm going to backtrack a little bit, right? So prior to running an incubation program, we did run some training programs, right? Was the iWeb3 fellowship, iVersity cohort 1, cohort 2, but we soon realized quite quickly that what Africa needed was people to actually build and put real world products out there. And then that birthed the iVersity Founders Program, which we ran solely on our own, right? We had the first cohort, second cohort, had some interesting projects graduate from that, and as an organization that's constantly looking to build on what we currently have, we were looking for partners who would add value to what we're already doing. And then came LISC, whose mission is to obviously support founders in high growth market, and this aligns very well what we're doing at Aya, because what we're doing is obviously building the on-chain economy in Africa through helping and supporting builders to innovate. And so we came together and the IHQ Analyst Incubation Program was born. So what this program basically does is it helps founders go from validating their ideas, understanding the complexities, providing them with resources to validate their ideas, to make sure they're not just building for their PCs but actually building for the real world, right? We help them validate these ideas, we help them through growing these ideas from a technical standpoint and from a business standpoint. We understand that one of the things that a lot of founders struggle with is understanding the non-technical side to things, because there are a lot of people who can write code, but actually building a product that will be used in the real world is a totally different conversation, right? So we take them through the complexities of that, helping them scale, and courtesy of LISC, we are also able to provide them with grants to support them, because again, one of the major challenges with building in Africa is lack of resources, where founders have to bootstrap for a very long time, and it's not very friendly, and a lot of interesting ideas die along the way as a result. So that's basically an overview of the IHQ Analyst Incubation Program. The vision behind the incubation program aligns with our mission and vision as an organization, right? What we're trying to do is build the African on-chain economy, and the only way to do that is by getting people to innovate and build products that solve African problems, right? And that's our vision, because we feel like once you get people to build and innovate, you can create value in society, and you can cause a ripple effect of change. And that's what we're trying to achieve. We envision a future where Africa is respected more because of the value we're able to create, and so we're supporting founders to be able to do this. So this program is designed for anybody with interesting ideas looking to solve African problems and having at least an on-chain element to what they're building, right? It doesn't matter whether you're an early stage founder, it doesn't matter whether you're still validating the idea. If you've built something out, right, we can then guide you into launching this product in the real world. So for early stage founders, people who have built things in the past, and people looking to really get their products to scale, right? So it's quite encompassing, but most importantly, we also like to target like early stage founders, because there are not a lot of opportunities for early stage founders to really grow. not a lot of opportunities where early stage founders are really supported to put products out there. And so these are, our ideal targets. I'm just going to piggyback to something I mentioned, earlier. One reason why this program is unique is obviously we target early stage founders, right? Because like I mentioned, there are not a lot of opportunities out there where early stage founders are supported, more so in the Web3 ecosystem, right? So we target these people, and that's one of the things that makes us stand out. Number two, we obviously have a very strong partner in the person of List that's able to provide grants to these founders. I think that's also something that makes us stand out. And then how well designed, right? And I'm not just saying this because I'm the programs manager. I'm saying this because we've obviously gotten a lot of testimonials that speak to the impact of the program. I mean, the very first time we did this, we had an impact assessment to evaluate how impactful this program was, and it's been very impactful in terms of helping people on the business side of things, which we've realized a lot of founders are oblivious to, which is one of the reasons why so many projects which are promising end up just being PC projects or pet projects. The partnership with List came into play when we're looking for a partner, right, to co-create our vision of putting Africa on the map as, a continent that can innovate. We had run 2 incubation programs prior, right, and we wanted a partner to add value to that, and then came List. They aligned very well with our mission. They were able to provide grants to the founders. They were able to provide technical support, and so we partnered with List to run the subsequent versions of the incubation program. The journey has been transformative, and transformative in the sense that at the beginning of the program, we see the levels where the founders are at in terms of their ability to communicate their ideas clearly, pitch their ideas, understand the non-technical side to things, and there is such a huge gap from when they come into the program and when they leave. We carry out surveys, we speak to these people, and even on demo days you can see the impact from when they came and when they leave is massive, because they end up with thoroughly refined projects that are ready for the market. They are able to communicate these ideas clearly. These ideas have been thoroughly validated, and so for me it just speaks to how transformative the program is. Founders receive support in ways you would not even imagine, from mentorship, technical support, building on Lisk, smart contract auditing. I mean, we've provided badges for founders, right, to audit their smart contracts. There is community support. We are constantly amplifying what these founders are doing, putting it out to our own community, right, and giving them the opportunity to grow. We even go as far as providing personal support to these founders, because one thing we see at Aya is the human layer is very important, and if you're going to support somebody to build, you also have to be sensitive and mindful of their personal state of mind and things like that. So we provide support in all of these areas. We form a collective, we become a family pretty much, and then we're able to support these founders in more ways than is typically attainable in other incubation programs. Right. There are a lot of standout activities and highlights during the incubation program. I think one of the most interesting things for me is, the founder summit, where all of the founders come together for a 2-week period, either in a hub in Kilifi, Kenya, or in a hub in Accra, Ghana, right? And it's a really big highlight for me because within such a short period of time following the virtual phase of the program, we see a lot of collaboration happen between the founders. We see people bond really closely and develop a sense of community, and we see, most importantly, excellent demo days where these founders sell their ideas to investors, general public. And I think it's really interesting to see how much change happened from the start versus the end when we have the founder summit. Oh, there are numerous exciting projects and stories, right? From when we had the iVersity Founders Program, which incubated projects like Sarcasm, right? These were projects that were not really out there. You could even consider them pet projects at the time, right? But projects like Sarcasm have become quite popular in the Ghanaian ecosystem and even beyond, right? So that's one example of a success story. There are multiple. We've seen projects like DigitPay come through the last cohort, where they came with a certain idea, and in the course of helping them validate their ideas, they did a pivot, and within the space of 3 months they were able to refine their ideas, right? They were able to validate their ideas, test whatever assumptions they came in with the original idea, do a pivot, build, and then launch, and they are already processing transactions. There are so many examples I could give, and I'll go on and on if I were to do that, but that's just a brief highlight of some of the transformative stories we've seen so far. So we've seen founders build in so many different sectors. From creative economy, we have projects like ClapMe. From payment and remittances, which is quite popular, obviously, because there is an existing there are existing infrastructures for people to build on, and obviously payment and remittance is also one of the earliest use cases for blockchain technology. We've seen loads of projects. I'm talking DexPay, DigitPay, CryptoMomo, and loads of other interesting projects in that sector. We've also seen projects in infrastructure. We have projects like QuickDB that have built a decentralized storage platform. We have projects like Plambok that have built a programmable wallet infrastructure, and yes, just projects on so many different sectors. I think these solutions impact the African on-chain economy in a very interesting way, and I think this happens because these founders are building with blockchain technology. They're building solutions that speak to local problems, and that creates a situation where even non-Web3 natives get onboarded into Web3, because obviously these solutions solve problems for them. It's not so much about the technology, right? It's about the problem the technology is solving, and then this consequently helps grow the on-chain economy by getting more people into Web3, solving local problems, and just being generally impactful. Um, we One thing about us as an organization is we constantly try to build on what every single cohort. I mean, we had the IRS, the founders program, then came the LISC, the one in partnership with LISC, and we are constantly making improvements, going back to the drawing board to find ways to make it even more impactful. Currently, application for the third cohort, right, of the IR HQ and LISC incubation program is ongoing, and this is basically an invitation to everyone who is building something, looking to build something and getting it to scale quickly, or you built something and you want it to scale quickly. This is an invitation to apply as the program continues to get better. Yeah, so if you want to apply for the next cohort, it's pretty simple. Follow us on all our social media channels. We constantly share the application links, and then you can also visit versity.irhq.com and you'd also find the link to apply, as well as details regarding the program. All right, so for builders, the world is ready to see you build, right? Enough of pet projects, enough of not building impactful solutions, enough of building just for the sake of titles, right? It's time to actually build things that solve local problems, right? So we invite you to apply for partners. This is a call on all partners, right? We are awakening the African consciousness. We are getting people to build, and this is definitely something that you want to be a part of, by way of investment, partnering with us to further uplift these founders, shouting out their projects so people become aware of these projects, because obviously as early stage projects, one of the things that would really be beneficial to them is being out in the public. I mean, this is basically my call also to protocols out there. You can definitely borrow a leaf from LISC, right? They have basically backed up their technology with a human layer framework by choosing to align with us and support African founders. So enough of meetups, enough of conferences that basically end this just conversations, and just conversations that don't really advance anything, and follow-up sessions. Like, enough of that. Find organizations such as IR that are willing to that are looking to co-create Africa's future, Africa's on-chain future, that are looking to get African builders to innovate. Because one thing I can tell you for a fact is, African builders are ready, given the right resources, provided with the right support. African builders can really build and transform, Africa and even the world at large. Final words, like we always say at Aya, so everyone out there, keep building. The world only responds to value.